Whoa! Welcome to the TreasureTreeTherapy Planters Podcast. I'm your host, Master Cheeze. You're in for another good one, as always. But before we tap into that, today is a special edition on the Planters Podcast. It is the season finale, and we're in a very special location with a very special guest. We're going to focus on some injuries, and then we're going to transition and speak on the Chicago Bears. He's a lifelong Bears fan, and you don't want to miss this. Stay tuned.
I'm not new to this, I'm true to this. You just have to get used to this. Then please, everybody on the feet, play this podcast with Master Cheeze.
All right, guys, welcome back to the TreasureTreeTherapy Planters Podcast. Again, I'm your host, Master Cheeze. I'm joined with a very special guest on a very special edition of the podcast at a very special location. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up, guys? How you guys doing? My name is Jason, long-term Bears fan. I've been with us through thick and thin, and I'm just going to give you a fan's analysis of how the Bears have been doing this season and what we can do in the future to improve.
Good. I'm very happy that he's joining us today. Very special guest. He is a lifelong Bears fan and also a Bears analyst. He's done a good job of paying attention to the roster moves that have taken over in the last couple years. As we progress to that, we're going to look and focus on a couple injuries going on throughout the league. First injury we're going to look at is STROUD of the Houston Texans. STROUD has been out with a concussion for the last couple weeks, and it appears that he's having a hard time progressing through the NFL's 5-step protocol. The NFL has been very thorough with this protocol. It requires you to get through 5 phases, and right now it appears that he's not even past stage 4. If those of you who are using him as their fantasy quarterback, you might want to look elsewhere. You have to get through these phases without these symptoms of pain in order to get back on the field. Very important for the player's health. And so just take care of yourself, CJ, and look out to see if you can make a healthy recovery before the playoffs. And as we progress from STROUD, we're going to look at Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers of the New York Jets was taken off IR in preparation for him to not play this season. It appears the team is trying to make sure that he gets his first team reps and become more familiar with the guys on his roster as he prepares to come back next year. The Jets have been a dumpster fire in addition to the Bears, and it looks like they're preparing for next year as they do not have any playoff hopes this year. So good luck to Aaron Rodgers, who also suffered an Achilles injury earlier this year, who's only played about 5 plays this year. And from Aaron Rodgers, the most important injury is for the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears fans took a big blow, big injury this year. And this past week, we lost to the Cleveland Browns in a nail-biter, losing by a late-game field goal. Now, Jason, now that I have you on the show, what were your thoughts going into that game against the Cleveland Browns?
So coming into the season, pretty much the division was open. Aaron Rodgers is finally gone. Everyone's thinking this is their chance. We got shot in the foot early in this season. We lost some games we shouldn't have lost. But suddenly we started winning some games, and suddenly we could make the playoffs. We had to win out. A lot of teams had to lose. But most importantly, we had to win out, so we got to worry about ourselves. Here comes the Browns game. I'm excited. We're coming off back-to-back wins. Justin Fields is playing the best football of his career right now. The defense is locked in. So I'm thinking this is going to be a good game, and it's a meaningful game.
Very meaningful game, as he discussed. The Bears really needed to win that game. Looking at the schedule, the Bears had to pretty much win out because we had a late season start on getting these wins. Cleveland Browns are not a familiar opponent, but Justin Fields remember them because he had his first NFL start against them, and it was a dumpster fire as well. Had a very hard time, and this was the revenge game, as I discussed on last week's podcast. This was Justin Fields' revenge game that he really needed to show and prove that he is the NFL. He is a franchise quarterback. Cleveland Browns have a very good defense, and Justin Fields is more than capable. But looking at that game, there were a lot of mistakes that came down, not only Justin Fields, but with his teammates. Justin Fields ended up going 19 for 40 with a 47 completion percentage. In addition to that, he had 2 interceptions and 2 fumbles. Now, as I was watching the game, the interceptions weren't totally his fault, but they're alarming on the stats. Do you agree or disagree with that?
I don't really call them alarming. Like, he had threw a Hail Mary at halftime, and of course he ended the game with a Hail Mary. So there's just 50-50. Those are just turnovers you got to eat as a quarterback sometimes. The one at halftime, I mean, people decided, maybe people were discussing we should go for a field goal or go for the Hail Mary. I heard some reports that maybe it was a little bit outside of Santos's range in Cleveland with the wind going against us. But, you know, you chalk up those interceptions to a little 50-50 Hail Mary.
Okay. Now, do you think we should have went for the field goal at the end of the half?
Like I said, they warmed them up before the game, so they did not feel comfortable with where they were on the field. So they felt like they were a little outside of his range. And like I always believe, we didn't lose the game on that one play. As you pointed out, there were mistakes by pretty much everybody. Robert Tonyan missed
Oh, my goodness.
perfectly drawn up play. Justin Fields hits him in stride, about 40 yards down the field, right off his fingertips. That killed us. Like, we needed those.
Definitely.
And then we know that play at the end of the game. We could discuss it a little bit later. That's another catch. Darnell Mooney, we need that. That's the season.
We're not going to even discuss Darnell Mooney because I'm going to save him for later. But Justin Fields did have some productive throws, just didn't have enough to win the game. One thing I will say for Justin Fields, he did have a 4th and 1, 4th and 2 that he was unable to get.
A great play. I forgot who made that play, but great. Catching Justin Fields on the outside and open field, he just got a little bit of him. Good effort by Justin Fields as well. That's a good play by Cleveland.
It's a good play by Cleveland, but I want more from Justin Fields. I'm gonna be the devil's advocate in a sense. You know, Justin Fields is 6'4". He's a large quarterback, and we can't get shoestring tackle, especially on 4th downs. But Justin Fields did make some good throws, as he discussed. Robert Tonyan had a very huge drop. That's a touchdown that changes the game, and we need some help out of our receivers. In addition to that, Darnell Mooney, he is a receiver that has been with the Bears since he got here. Very great route runner. He became a Bears fan favorite in a sense, but not very productive. Watching the highlights and watching the replay of that game, he had 2 opportunities to show why he should still be on the Bears team. You know, first throw Justin Fields threw to him, kind of got to his tip, but it hit his hands, and he should have caught that one. But most importantly, big players make big plays in big games. Darnell Mooney had an opportunity to become that big player through all the issues that he has been presented throughout the year. The ball literally hits his lap, and he drops it.
I mean, honestly,
He drops it.
you couldn't have it written any better for you. Sitting on the ground, place himself right in front of the crowd as you should. On that play, on the Hail Mary gets tipped right to him, you got to catch that.
So
Season-changing, career-changing.
season change. So are we bringing him back, or what do you think? Do you want him back on the roster? Absolutely not. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm going to say it depends on what we can add. Maybe he's our slot guy. He's definitely not a number 2.
As we discussed Darnell Mooney, I want us to look at this. The man had 2 catches for 14 yards. Why is he out there?
He's out there because we have no one else right now. That's been a big problem for the Bears. We got to get Justin Fields some weapons. I agree. I got a soft heart for Darnell Mooney, but 2 for 14 is unacceptable.
Okay. And it's showing that throughout the year, that's what the production is coming from Mooney. He kind of goes ghost, and it may not be his fault, but it's not what the Bears need. Now, as we progress from Justin Fields, there are some things that he can clean up, but we're going to focus on the coach before we look at Justin Fields and discuss if whether he's a franchise quarterback or not. The thoughts on the coach, I'm a very, very big fan of the coach, Eberflus. I'm a very big fan of him because he has a defense rocking. The defense has been one of the best defenses we've had in a long time, and showing that they're capable to show up in big games. And so I want to ask you, Jason, do we keep the coach or do we put him to the road?
As I'm aware of everything that's going on, he is in charge of the defensive play calling. The offensive coordinator is in charge of the offensive play calling. He's got the defense, like you said, rocking this season. We're top 3 in rushing. I know we're lower in passing, but as you've seen the last couple of games, this secondary is sitting on everything right now. Like, they're a quarterback's worst nightmare right now. So moving him does what for us exactly? Pretty much nothing. It just restarts us, and I'm not a fan of restarting every year.
You can't restart. We've been restarting since forever.
Sometimes you just got to let it rock out, man. Offensive coordinator, hey, I'm fine with finding that.
All right. So are you saying we keep the head coach?
I'm saying we keep the head coach Find a new offensive coordinator. I like what they're doing in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson. They're really heavy on the run, including Lamar. Like I say, we use Justin with the run, and then we get weapons to take shots down the field. But focus on the run, then take our shots when we need to take our shots.
Okay, wonderful. So, in your thoughts, we keep the coach and we work to progress on the offensive coordinator, and then keep everything the same.
Keep everything the same. I definitely say we go shopping for an offensive coordinator.
Okay, so now as we discuss the coach, as he's doing some good things, the defense is rocking again. So we got to give him some credit. I know we want to win now, but it does take some time to progress and become that NFL team that's NFL championship contenders. Now for Justin Fields, are you keeping Justin Fields or are we going for Caleb Williams?
I've looked at the quarterbacks. I think we got about 3 projected in the top 10, and I've looked at Justin Fields. They do not have what Justin Fields have.
So you're saying no?
No, we do not throw away a 6'4", 4'3" quarterback.
Okay.
For nothing.
Okay, I can agree with that. I think Justin Fields has some weaknesses. He has to clean up his mechanics a little bit and his decision making. I'm gonna let you touch on that. But Justin,
hey yo, that was crazy.
Hey yo, that was crazy.
But we gonna let it slide.
We even. Yeah. That was crazy. My bad. I'm slipping. I'm bugging. Can you? Nah, I got leave it alone.
Is very, very capable. He's shown a lot of growth. I think we should keep him for next year and see what he can do for us, because he's going into his 4th year off his rookie deal.
He is going to his 4th year.
And so typically after the 4th year, what happens with the contracts and everything?
That's when you make your big decision. He was drafted in the top 10, so we're looking at a nice hefty contract for him. So that's when you make your decision, is this the guy or not?
Okay, so it looks like we should give Justin Fields another year, clean up his mechanics and his decision making. Do you agree? Like, how would you say he is with his decision making?
I mean, just looking at it every game, he's a little slow to like get the ball out of his hands. He's a little slow with decision making. Should I pass or should I run? Also, I would like him to be able to read the offense a little bit better. He seems to be locked in on his primary receiver a lot. I would like for him to decide, okay, DJ Moore's covered. Do I go to Komet? Do I look for Mooney? So just reading the field, the whole offense. And just looking at the Browns game, I don't know if you saw early in the half, broke away from Myles Garrett, maybe defensive player of the year, broke away from him, hit Komet on a rope right in the corner of the end zone. I can't see any quarterback in the draft doing that play right there.
Agreed. That's a very impressive play, and it happened very early on, and it showed it showed us why Justin Fields is Justin Fields. So. Also,
he was known at Ohio State for being pretty accurate with his downfield throws. We're starting to see that heat up in Chicago. Like I said, we've seen some drops. I've seen one from Tunyon today. I seen one against the Lions that would have closed that game out. We would have swept them. So he's becoming a little bit more accurate in the NFL with his downfield throws as well. Just got to get him some weapons.
Okay, wonderful. So Justin Fields stays, the coach stays, Darnell Mooney hits the road. All right, we understand that. But no, in all seriousness, as we look at the picks that we have, the Bears have an opportunity to go after number 1 or number 2 type receiver. And who are your thoughts, or who you think the Bears should go with their picks?
All right, so before like this little streak of winning we had, the Bears had a decision to make. We got the number 1 pick. We probably have like 5 through 7. So one option was go get Caleb Williams, number 1. Go get an offensive tackle at 5, 6, or 7. That's one option. Your second option was Marvin Harrison Jr., the best prospect in the draft.
I want him. That's who I want. I want that guy.
Probably will never see this guy again.
Yeah.
Ohio State.
Yeah.
Go get him. And still go get your offensive tackle with your next pick. Your offense is looking really, really good at that point. You probably have a top 5 offensive line. You're probably a top 3 rushing team. And then you have one of the best 1-2 punches on the outside. That's really exciting. But there is a third option.
Whoa. Third option.
There is a third option.
What is the third option? Because you playing games with me right now.
All right, so looking at the draft, you got New England 2, you got New York, Washington, Oakland. They're floating around through that 3 through 7 area. They all need quarterbacks. Caleb Williams has been preached as the franchise quarterback, the best arm talent since Patrick Mahomes. As soon as you hear that name, Patrick Mahomes, you're like, I'll give you whatever I can give you for that. And that's our third option. Give me your house, your mortgage, and your firstborn. You can have Caleb Williams.
The firstborn, though?
The firstborn, you can have him. Last year, we fleeced Carolina. We swapped picks with them, got their first pick this year, got their best player, DJ Moore. who's really been one of the most productive receivers for the Bears since, who would you say, Brandon Marshall?
Yes, I agree. Brandon Marshall might have been the last elite receiver we've had.
So let's say a team wants to offer us that same deal, swap, we get their first round pick next year, which more than likely they're going to be a bad team. That's going to be a great pick again. And we still get their best player. I'm hearing names like Max Crosby thrown around, and hey, that defensive line with Sweat and Crosby.
Interesting.
Go get another interior rusher. So I'm definitely throwing number one out. We don't want Caleb Williams. We already said that. I'm really torn between the Marvin Harrison and listen to the trade. So right now I'm opening. I just want to hear what they got for us.
Okay. All right, so we have 3 possibilities. You saying the pick swap is a possibility, and that's very interesting as you say that. If the Bears can play their cards right, we can multiply what we got with.
They play their cards right. They probably could do this for the next 3-4 years. Just keep swapping picks.
Okay.
While building assets.
All right.
It's a good situation we're in right now.
The biggest thing for me is that I do like Marvin Harrison Jr., okay? I think having him on our team will give us another opportunity to have more threats. You know, Darnell Mooney is a great route runner, but his size does not present threats to very high-powered defenses like the 49ers or the Eagles or the Pittsburgh Steelers.
So let me ask you a question right quick.
Okay.
Say we draft Marvin Harrison, we got DJ Moore. Is there a way we keep Mooney in the slot? Do you see something with that? Any promise?
No.
You know, it depends on how much Mooney wants. You know, I think if you look at his statistics, he's not really in a category to really get paid. But I wouldn't mind keeping Mooney on like a cheaper deal. He will become the third receiver, and I think he will thrive at that position.
Well, Komet at tight end. That looks like a promising pass.
That's a promising team. You know, we go 3 deep, especially with that tight end.
Still get our offensive tackle. We got one last year. Let's get another one. The Cowboys, they are known for getting offensive tackles and guards in the first round. Look at their line for the last 10 years they've been dominant?
Right. Well, because if you really look at it, Mooney turned from a wide receiver 1 to a wide receiver 2, and he could become a wide receiver 3 who's capable of being a wide receiver 1. So he'll be a deep threat in our offense down the line, being able to compete against, you know, high-powered offenses because we'll have Marvin Harrison Jr. and DJ Moore, who's been very consistent down the line. So I do like that question, and if we can keep Mooney for a cheaper contract or something that's not really out the water, I can agree with that. His production has to get better though. I need more than 2 catches for 14 yards in big games.
That's true. I'm thinking DJ Moore's getting a lot of attention. Marvin Harrison will get a lot of attention. DJ Moore's probably gonna get your third corner, maybe even a linebacker. He should be eating in that position.
Okay, yeah. So I look forward to seeing what the Bears can do with these draft picks moving on to the future. But as we progress from the Bears and their dilemma, what is the options that we have with the second pick? So if we go after Marvin Harrison with that 1 pick in the first, give us a little bit more detail of what we can do with these picks. We have 2 picks in the first round.
We do have, more than likely we have the number 1 pick, and then it's fluctuating between like 5 through 8 right now. I think we're at number 6 right now. Okay. There are 3 offensive tackles projected on the top 10. I don't really know. Just pick their poison really with what you want to go with. They're all highly rated. You got one out of Penn State, one out of Notre Dame, one out of Alabama. Okay. All known for offensive linemen. I don't think you can really go wrong with that. That's why I'm not really opposed to trading back, because you have so many weapons like on the offensive line. As long as we take care of that, we still have a little cap room. We go out, find another receiver. Also, looking at the other side of the ball, we didn't really talk about, we need to lock in Jalen Johnson. How do you feel about locking in Jalen Johnson?
Jalen Johnson, I was a fan of him at his rookie year. He's very hungry, made a lot of plays, kind of fell off a little bit. But he's shown a resurgence, and he's shown that he's a cornerback that would be very beneficial for a great defense.
Hey, he's talking that talk right now, and he's backing it up.
He's talking that talk.
He's sitting on routes. He's sitting on it. He's running the routes for the receivers. Looking at the safety position, I really like Jaquan Brisker. If he's not a Pro Bowler this season, he's for sure going to be one for the next couple of years. He's just at the line. He's just a mini linebacker up there making plays. He's not afraid to hit.
So you like the defense right now?
I like the defense. We on the other side, we got Stevenson in the slot, young player, really making plays. Gordon's also making plays. Eddie Jackson, your boy, how do you feel about him? He had a pick last game.
Oh, man.
He used to be known for the pick sixes.
Eddie Jackson has been making a lot of plays. He's been a big playmaker. He had a drop-off after his injury in the playoffs. He had a hard time dealing with some tackles, how to tackle. I've been defending him for a while, but he's showing that he can be a leader in that secondary. The biggest thing for me, I think the Bears need to do a better job of moving him a little bit more around. That way he can use his ball hawking ability to kind of be deceptive and make more plays. He's not a big guy, so tackling is not really his strong suit. And if we can kind of find some more areas for him, I think that the Bears can have success being the top 5 defense going into next year.
So cover the secondary. Oh my God, we spent everything we had on linebackers last year. Thought it was a bad move. It's coming together now. They're making plays in the run game.
They had a pick six.
They're making plays in the passing game.
Yeah.
They're on everything. Yeah. We went out and got Montez Sweat. Start off slow. I mean, that's one game. He started off slow. He picked it up, started getting sacks. You know, he's leading the Bears in sacks, and he's leading Washington in sacks at the same time.
That's crazy. That's a crazy stat.
No player's ever done that to end the season, so that would be cool if he's able to do that. We picked up Ngakoue. I think we can go get maybe an interior rusher in second, third round. Maybe we'd find that in free agency. We can just play around with that. But I think our primary focus is right now being how comfortable I am with the defense.
Okay.
Is a wide receiver and definitely an offensive tackle.
All right, so on defense, we have a lot of great talent. We have some main pieces. We just need some
chemistry's together right now.
Yeah, them boys is having a good time in the locker room. Just kind of took a bad L this week. But now, as we progress, now, if you're the Chicago Bears, you got about 3 more games left. Are you trying to win these games? Or are you trying to tank out? Like, what are your thoughts going on with that?
So, like I'm saying, we don't control the Panthers. Like, that pick is there. We're the number 1 pick. So we don't need to tank. Like, we have that. As I told you, we do have 3 offensive tackles. It's like, do you like one that much more than the other where you're trying to lose? I don't think so. I think the main problem with the Bears right now is they have the talent all coming together, but not a lot of winners on that team at the professional level. Justin Fields has won Ohio State, but as he's figured out quickly, this isn't Ohio State. So we need to learn how to close out games on this level. As we saw with the Lions last year, they got hot. It continued to this year. They're probably going to win the North. Double-digit win team right now. I think that's the Bears formula right now. Learn how to win games. Take it over into next year. Add to it. And who knows? The North could be ours.
Okay. I like what you're saying because the momentum is definitely what we need going into next year. As you can even see, you know, the New York Jets are trying to get some momentum going in with Aaron Rodgers coming off an injury. The biggest thing that the Lions were able to do, they were able to catapult their offense this year because they kept that momentum from last year. So I do agree if we can kind of keep that momentum coming in from this year, positive things, positive outlooks going into next year, maybe being a championship contender would be great to have for an inspirational season, setting a bar with the expectation high is something I do agree with.
Yeah, just being comfortable knowing, okay, we blew a lead, let's get it right back. Just knowing they can close games. Like, the NFL is a league where it's a game of runs. Anybody can come back. Anybody can win on any Sunday. It's just being confident knowing we've been in this situation before, which they hadn't. Okay. So start developing that. We've been in this situation. We can close this game up.
Okay, become creatures of habit, learn how to win. All right, so now that we play Arizona this past weekend, the Bears have to face off against Arizona. Well, playoff hopes are down the tank. We have to pretty much win out and get a lot of teams to lose 2 games. But all we can do is win. What do you see the projection going up against Arizona this weekend?
Looking at the bottom of the league, we got the Cardinals, the Panthers, the Patriots, even the Bears. Doesn't really seem like any of these teams are trying to lose. The Panthers just won last week. The Cardinals got some good wins on their resume. They did beat the Cowboys, a very good team. I don't expect anyone to lay down for the Bears. So I expect the Bears defense to come out hungry like they've been doing the last couple of weeks. I say the secondary forces 2 turnovers sitting on those routes. Kyler Murray is a tricky one. He does like to get out the pocket, but the Bears pass rush is also lighting it up today. So I'll give him 4 sacks on Kyler Murray.
4 sacks?
4 sacks, 2 turnovers.
4 sacks. All right, so how many is Montez Sweat going to have?
We'll give him 1.5.
1.5. Okay. I like that. Bears playing up against Arizona. Arizona's not really a good team. Kyler Murray's coming back off an ACL injury. It's a very winnable game. I believe that the Bears offense needs to show a little bit more high-poweredness going into that game.
So, yeah, what I would like to see from the Bears offense, no matter the score, even if we're winning, I want to see still that consistent play calling. Don't try to run the clock out. Let's keep our foots on anyone's neck. Like, let's get Justin Fields. Like,
stay aggressive, you're saying.
And he had 30 rushing yards last game?
Yeah, he had about 30, 40 yards.
And I don't even know how many design runs they were. It wasn't a lot. We need to see I would say what is 7 to 8 a lot? Is that too much for Justin Fields design runs?
No, not at all. Especially when you don't have your offense scoring like that, and you have a 6'4" quarterback.
Like, you have to keep that in the defensive mind. This guy will run the ball. That opens up the passing game so much for us. And he's just dynamic. Like, it's just him and Lamar right now that can do that kind of stuff with the football.
All right, shout out to Russell Wilson. But now that he's playing Arizona, what do you see his yards and through the air? First, we've got over or under 200 yards in the air.
I'm going to give him around 210 in the air.
210?
210. Like I told you, I don't want to be a pass-happy team.
Okay, 210. Okay.
210.
You saying he's getting over 200 yards?
Over 200 yards. My guess is around 210.
All right.
I'm going to give him 2 total touchdowns.
Okay.
Say 1 in the air and 1 on the ground.
Okay. And the Bears win that game with the score of?
The defense is locked in. I want them holding them to 14. I don't want to see nothing more than 14 out of Arizona. The Bears offense, I'll give them 27. I'm going 27-14.
All right, now this is a side note, because, I mean, we're talking about the Bears, we're talking about defensive. Right now, my fantasy team, I got the Cleveland Browns defense or the Bears defense. All right? Which one do you think would make more sense?
Who's Cleveland playing?
Cleveland's playing the Browns. The Browns are playing, they're playing the Houston Texans. So CJ Stroud might play, might not play. What did you think about that?
So with him playing, how does it usually affect him coming off these concussion protocols? Like, what do you usually see for quarterbacks?
Concussions are a little bit, you have a little bit slower processing. So, you know, you're a little bit more delayed on reacting and reading certain throws that you commonly would do.
Oh my Lord, I would not want to be coming off a concussion playing the Cleveland Browns pass rush. I've seen him up close and personal. Myles Garrett is a monster. One hit from him, he could be right back.
So you saying CJ Stroud might not want to come back against this defense?
Nah.
That might not be a good decision.
They're fighting for the playoffs. Ooh, man.
You might have to take this L, just live for fighting
for
every
his
day.
future. I mean, this is what he's a rookie. Like, he's a rookie, man. We don't want.
Yeah, like I said, it was like his welcome to the NFL. Like, they really tried to put that man out for the season.
That pass rush is not to be played with.
Okay.
So
I'll keep that in mind. We'll see.
Yeah, and the Bears got Arizona. Kyler Murray's coming off. I might go with Cleveland.
You might go with Cleveland?
I'll probably go with Cleveland.
Okay, I'm going to have to go to the boardroom and get my Warriors amped up for that game, see if I can get a fantasy championship. But it's a great side note, great piece on that, and great information. Anything else you would say that the Bears in particular that the fans may not know, or something you've also paid attention to?
Pretty much nothing in particular. I just want to say, like, I know we've been through a lot. Stay excited. Like, this is a good time to be a Bears fan. As long as we don't mess up in that front office with these draft picks. This will be hard to mess up, wouldn't you agree? Having 2 top picks back-to-back years.
You do know we're Bears fans, right?
We are.
So, I mean, it's not hard to mess it up, but if anybody was to mess it up, it probably would be the Chicago Bears.
That's a crazy thing to say, but it's very true.
It's a very
Just
upsetting.
stay excited. I
Okay.
mean, they were very competitive this year. That's all you want right now, is to be competitive while you're building. You don't want a complete overall. Like, you don't want unwatchable football. They're very watchable as long as Justin Fields is back there. That defense is playing. So stay excited. Be excited about these decisions for the draft picks. Hopefully, maybe we'll get a crazy trade. It happened last year. Maybe we'll get it again.
Yeah, you know, them trades be very exciting. So we'll see. We'll see what the Bears got. We'll see if they can get the victory this upcoming weekend against the Arizona Cardinals. But that will be the last on the episode about the Chicago Bears. Win or lose, the season's pretty much over with. But now, if they make the playoffs, or they get like the last game to make the playoffs, we might come back with another special edition episode. But you got something to say?
See, I mean, if they make the playoffs, hey, we got to do it in the lake. We'll go to Lake Michigan.
It's in the water?
Yeah, we in the water with that.
All right, I gotta get my scuba gear then, man. Prepare for that.
What is it? Well, 30 degrees in that water?
Probably be like -15 by the time.
I'm in the water.
You in the water?
In the playoffs.
He's crazy as a Bears fan. But as we progress from the Bears fan, we do want to bring over to the Salt Bay NBA, as we always do. Want to finish with this. You know, we have talked about a lot of NBA players, and we will focus on the Clippers, but it's going to be predominantly the Kawhi watch. A lot of people are looking forward for the Los Angeles Clippers to become an NBA champions, but it comes down to them staying healthy. Now, something alarming just occurred to me as I was watching yesterday's game. Kawhi Leonard's been on a tear. He's been averaging 30 points per game. He's showing like why he is a 2-time Finals MVP. But something that needs to be paying attention to is what I continue to drive is that he's doing something he hasn't done in the past couple of years. He's playing in these back-to-backs, and he hasn't sat out any games. He's been staying pretty healthy. But in last night's game against the Dallas Mavericks in the fourth quarter, he ended up doing what he also did in the previous years. If you recall, I spoke about what he did how he bumped Joe Ingles and he fell to the ground and later found out he tore his ACL. Now, this is also similar to what happened last night against the Dallas Mavericks. He goes and he bumps into Williams, and it appears that he almost had a similar injury. Now, it might have connected to the hip, but it's showing me that in that fourth quarter, when you're getting fatigued and you're playing a lot of games, is that your body's kind of slowing down. They're pushing Kawhi a little bit too hard, I feel. I think if he can set out a game and kind of rejuvenate and also clear out some neurological deficits, some neurological compensations he's having based off him playing so many games. His body is still not used to it. Although he's doing well, the biggest thing and the biggest issue is that when he gets into those playoffs games, having to go game in and game out with limited rest, that's how these injuries occur.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Go ahead.
You are really good at predicting like an upcoming injury. What do you notice like in Kawhi Leonard's tendencies like when he's on the court? Where do you know something's like off?
What used to happen with Kawhi Leonard was that he would have a limp when he would just try to jog.
Looks like he's limping. It looks like he's limping. It looks like he's limping.
It's like, it'll be very slight, but it's a limp, very different. And also with Kawhi Leonard, he's a very big competitor. So in games where his knee is bothering him and he catches you underneath the rim, he will still go dunk you. Like, he would put his body in harm's reach just to prove a point. And you will see he'll become visible. There will be a visible limp after he'll go dunk. So he's also having a hard time controlling his emotions in games where he's using that extra energy. Now, what I've noticed as well is that his jump shot will be a little bit more flat. Right now, it's coming off really well. It's coming off at the top of the basket, but it used to come off very flat when he'll have fatigued legs. It seems that he's doing a better job of keeping his mechanics in his arms, but when he gets the contact late in fourth quarters, that's when his body is kind of starting to slow down. And last night was the first time I saw it happen since the Joe Ingles injury. I'm hoping that it's something that's not a big deal, but it's something that needs to be addressed if the Clippers plan on winning a championship. You know, a lot of these teams are very competitive, but it comes down to health. You know, God forbid, you know, Lakers go down with LeBron or AD, their championship hopes go down the drain. Same thing for the Suns. Kevin Durant, they go down the drain. And for the Clippers, even if it was Paul George or Kawhi, as it has been in the past years, it goes down the drain. They need to step out of themselves to become more aware of these neurological compensations that lead to injuries. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's something I'm seeing. But he hasn't really had that much this year.
That's a great answer, because I know me as just an NBA player fan, we're usually ball watching, and you tend to watch past the basketball, just knowing tendencies and predicting, like I said, injuries.
I'm gonna show you guys the play. I want you guys to just pay attention to this right here. This is the play I'm talking about right here. As you can see, he's kind of bumping. He's trying to get that call, but as he's trying to get that call, his left hip kind of dips in and his knee doesn't. But if we go back and review the Joe Ingles foul, he bumped him and his knee tweaked, as I discussed in the previous podcast. These are the kind of plays that can lead to an injury for Kawhi Leonard. It's not him just shooting the ball, it's those bumps. It's that fatigue down the stretch. You know, you're trying to take contact, you're trying to go 100 miles per hour, but you're not a 100 miles per hour player at this time. Again, you're coming off an ACL, meniscus tear, quadriceps tear. You're not the same player that you have been in previous years. So it's just something that needs to be monitored and paid attention to, especially if the Clippers plan on getting our hopes up and down like the Chicago Bears have.
I don't really care about the Clippers. I love the Bears, so check in with Cheese with the Clippers.
He a Bulls fan, so I don't know if that's better or worse. So we're gonna have to talk about them in another episode of the podcast.
I got a lot to say about that.
A lot to say. Well, I think that should be the conclusion. If you got anything else you wanna let the people know.
I mean, just stay tuned. Make sure if you disagree with anything we said in the episode, especially about the Bears, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, put it in the comments.
I know we got a lot of options. We could be wrong, we could be right. Just let us know how you feel.
Yeah, I know y'all got some opinions that may be different than my own, but if you disagree or agree, just put it in the comment section. Let us know if my thoughts are trash, if you like them, if not. It helps the channel. You can also help share them and subscribe. Okay, but on that note, this is the Treasure Treat Therapy Planters podcast. I'm joined with
your boy Jason,
and this is Master Cheeze, and we will continue to plant seeds today for future generations' success. Bloop. All right, cool. Let's do it.
I thought you know.
Let me see. Cleveland's playing. Cleveland's playing.
You brought up a side note and didn't even know who this.
Yeah, because I had who the Bears were playing.
It's a great question. Who the hell is Cleveland?
They ain't showing?
No, I had to go to their schedule.
Cleveland playing. Not Pittsburgh. Not Baltimore.
They are playing
Rams.
The Texans.
I'm not new to this, I'm true to this. You just have to get used to this. Then please, everybody on the feet, play this podcast, Master Cheeze.